Hey guys, happy Sunday. I'm here with my baby Charlie. We're gonna get dressed and I have a topic to talk about. So, first I'll show you what I'm gonna put her in. Now I'm gonna dress her in a way that historically I can't stand. The order part of me, the part that needs things to be just the way they were intended to be, always screamed about. I would say to myself or to the camera, no, you're doing it wrong. And now I find that I'm adoring it. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see. She's gonna be in this little ducky themed outfit. This is from Gerber. And we may or may not pair it with the ducky hat. Sometimes themes can go a little overboard. We also have the ducky mitts, so we're gonna see. And because it's chilly, I'm gonna put the jacket on her, probably. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But my taste and opinion shifted on the matter. So I just, while it's not completely lined up with my point, it just feels fitting. So you guys know that I am not a drama channel, but you may have heard that I am a psychology channel. I'm going to try not to wax too deep on anything woo-woo or too analytical, but we'll see how it goes because I got to be me. I have seen, I would say 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 different comments and topics surrounding the idea of cliques and groups and so forth. Some were topic videos, some were comments, you know, either addressing the existence of cliques or wanting to stop saying it because they don't feel that it exists. And I've got some thoughts on the matter, go figure. Some things just strike me a certain way. And you know, I'm pretty adept at intention too. I mean, I'm not so egotistical to believe that I know what somebody else's intentions are, but I can feel stuff. So anyway, before I moved to Chicago, I was and kind of how I ended up in Chicago is I was touring with a group that taught energy practice similar to yoga but not yoga, and food and breathing and also, you know, all is one philosophy, peace, all that stuff. And the group of people who had been around the longest were closest with the, you know, like president of the organization, and they all worked, obviously, they all worked there and had a lot in common. And they were always the ones that sat at the table together, and they always got to they always got to sit with the teacher, and they always seemed, I just always wanted to be a part of that. And I felt like, I'm just talking about how I feel. This doesn't apply to how other people, you know, on the Reborn topic feel. But I felt like I wasn't like good enough, or they were too exclusive or what have you. And like I wanted to find ways to get in there. I love the way it looks. I'm sure some of you are like screaming, no, that's wrong. I don't know. All of a sudden I like it. It's so cute. Let's just appreciate her like that for a minute. So I always wanted to be part of that. And I don't know why. I just wanted to be in it. And it didn't happen. For a long time, it didn't happen. And then I just thought, I actually have a lot of people that I am connecting with in this group that are friends, and I'm just going to like enjoy their time and just stop trying to, look, to be something so that I could be in this other group. And then naturally, to make a long story short, gradually, I actually became really, really, really close with those people. And it wasn't, they didn't sit around as a group like a council and decide whether or not I was cool enough to talk to or what have you. I just individually and organically began, having conversations with and like clicking, but not with a Q, with a CK. Clicking with people on an individual level, and then we just all kind of ended up hanging out. We ended up renting houses together on the time off, and really becoming close friends. And I remember sitting around to dinner with them, and the guy who I used to consider the leader of the group, I was looking at him and I said, you know what, you may not even know this, but when I first joined this team and started teaching and all of that, I really, really wanted to be a part of this circle. And I have to thank you for not coming to me out of seeing, out of like pity or whatever it was. Now, these are my words to him. This is not applying to anybody else because I don't know anybody else's experience. But I have to thank you for not, meeting me where I was at that time. Because at that time, I was feeling like maybe insecure and like I wanted to try to be something in order to be a part of that group. And just thank you for just being you and not even kind of seeing that vibration, because it wouldn't have allowed me to, number one, form the deep friendships that I still have today with my other friends, but also to become more solid in myself and realize that I would naturally attract people that were attracted to that same energy, and it wouldn't be as genuine and as deep of a friendship as it is. And he kind of, he said, "You're welcome," and I'm sure, he was pretty insightful, and I'm sure he knew, caught what I was laying down. So anyway, I looked up the definition of a clique, and most of it vibed. It was like a group of people that are drawn together, usually over similar interests, and spend a lot of time together. But the final piece of it was, and they typically don't allow outsiders in. And this is what I'm going to say, why I'm going to say that I have not experienced cliques. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I've seen people judged for the people they talk to. I've seen people summed up because of who they talk to as being a part of some clique. And I can tell you, at least from my experience, I talk with people that are friendly in, other quote unquote circles. I don't ever come in and talk to any of the people I talk to in a circle. It's individual relationships that develop over things in common. And as far as I know, they don't collaborate with their friends and determine whether or not I can be allowed into some group. In fact, I think that, for example, let's take the silicone doll collectors, clearly going to be really into talking to other silicone collectors and looking at other silicone dolls, because at least for right now, that's what they're into. I chat with some people and I just comment with other people, and other people I have zero interaction with, but all three of those categories of people may all talk to each other. So I don't think there's a committee. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So, yes. And along that same line, it's a trigger for me to see leveraging either threat or guilt to, try to get something that you need. So, for example, today I saw somebody who needed to sell a doll for money, but right before they put that, they put how they were really, really scared about their pregnancy, but they didn't have the money to go get checked out. And then immediately followed up with, somebody please buy my doll so that I can get the things that I need. And I see that a lot, sort of either guilting or airing too much personal business, as though somebody will feel so bad that they'll spend $500 on an item they wouldn't otherwise get. So, to me, that tactic doesn't work, and I don't think that it works in gaining genuine interaction from somebody. I just don't. I feel like, okay, so maybe this is too deep, I don't know, but there's a book called The Celestine Prophecy. If you grew up in the 90s, you might have heard of it, or, if you didn't grow up in the 90s, you may have heard of it. But The Celestine Prophecy deals a lot with energy, and one of the topics it talks about is control drama. Now, you can find these same teachings whether you study psychology or spirituality, or it's not a new concept. It's just it's just one aspect of the truth, I guess I'll say. So the idea is that when you form a relationship with somebody, there's like a shared energy. Picture it like a bubble in the middle of you two. And in the beginning, so in a romantic relationship, in the beginning, everybody's feeling completely fulfilled because both sides are putting in, and you're just like really full up of this energy. But then this fear of lack comes in, and these struggles start to ensue where you're trying to get the energy for yourself, and people will play different games in order to do that. There are different categories laid out in the book, like aloof, or aggressors, or intimidators, or poor me's. There's different types. I would say that I would probably, if I look at my weaker tendencies and didn't stay conscious, my tendency would be more of like the victim side, where I'll do and do and do, and then if I don't get what I expect from the person, then I'll feel sorry for myself, and then subconsciously, not intentionally, I'm trying to get the energy that way, right? So, I see these different ways that people put out there, what it is that they want, and then either guilt people, come at people, whatever it may be, when they're not getting it. And let me tell you why that wouldn't attract me. Because in a true friendship and a true relationship, you're giving and receiving. When I see somebody that I like the way that they talk, and we'll just say that that's what attracts me to a channel, is the vibe. It's the, my sense of genuine, my sense of somebody being real. They don't have to be perfect and perfectly nice all the time, but if I think they're honest with who they are, and they're good at their core, and they, they speak about things that I can relate to and I understand, that's what attracts me. So, and of course I have both kinds of dolls, and so, but a friend brought up an interesting topic. Like, there are other dolls, like Blythe dolls, ball jointed dolls, that I don't collect, and I probably, if I went and started interacting on their channels, they probably wouldn't have a whole lot to say to me. Maybe some people, but I wouldn't have a lot to talk about because I don't collect those dolls. But anyway, in an organically grown relationship, I don't go to that person trying to get a feeling from them. I actually am more giving them appreciation, liking what they do. And some people comment back, some people don't. Some people, you know, we develop a friendship. Some people it's just a compliment that's given, but I'm not going into it thinking about what I can get. And when I see criticism of friendships, judgment of groups, quote unquote groups, and judgment of their intentions and judgment of people for the company that they keep, based on our own suppositions, what I see is that person is focused on what it is that they need to get, that they feel they're lacking, and not just being in a double direction relationship, if that makes sense. Now, when I was on this tour that I talked about at the beginning of the video, I worked behind the table, the product table. So when there were breaks, you know, we had teaching guides and different things that were available for purchase and sales. So I worked behind that table, and I dealt with a lot of different people. And, you know, I always try to greet with a smile and be very, very open. And I learned very, very quickly that there is a value to trusting your judgment, trusting your gut, and also guarding your own energy, because a lot of times there are individuals that will draw from you whatever they can. Maybe they see something in you that they like, but they will they will just continue to pull energy from you to fill their own needs. They're not flowing with you. And so that's why I wouldn't go to somebody that I want to interact with and basically say, hey, I see you're really close with this person. I want that same thing with you, so let's do it, you know. It's just doesn't work that way. One of the great life lessons, one of my greatest lessons and things I've worked my whole life on and continue to work on, and I know deep down inside I will always be working on it, is being whole within myself. And I find that when I have expectations of other people to fulfill I don't mean needs like, you know, the breadwinner bringing home money so the family can live. I mean like depending on my partner to provide me the sense of my sense of security and self-esteem for me, that if I do that sense within me will never be stable. Because let's face it, we all have moods, we all have, fall in greater or less love, on a given day. And so what happened to me for a lot of my life is my sense of self would fluctuate, greatly based on what was happening around me. And so, I've really, really discovered the benefit of trying to tap into that, being who I am, knowing that I can't judge why somebody isn't giving me what I need or what I want from them, and, being okay whether I'm getting compliments one day, criticisms another, being ignored the other. I'm just finding much more happiness in life, now that I've implemented that, we'll say, as a practice. And maybe it's a trigger for me because I don't respond well to being held hostage based on somebody else's expectations. I can tell you that my dad and I didn't talk for a number of years because, he was, he was feeling some kind of way about the amount of time on the phone I could spend and the amount of frequency I could spend on the phone. And I was trying to keep up with life and, you know, I can feel overwhelmed by not meeting other people's expectations. And the expectation was conveyed in kind of a negative way. And even there, you know, we took a step back because I finally had to come to a point where I said, I can give you what I can give you, and it's given genuinely and has got to be enough. And if it's not enough, I get it, but I cannot keep myself up at night draining myself to meet your expectations. I just can't. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. You know, it's got to be, you know, this is what I have to give, and it's genuine and it's real, but I got a lot of life going on, and I don't think it's fair to be guilted or bullied into feeling not good enough because I can't give more. I feel like I've covered a lot of ground, so we're just going to leave with that and say, look at my Charli girl. I don't know if you guys can hear the dogs outside wrestling, but they make some funny noises. So there's my ducky girl with her wrong way outfit that I really love. I don't know why. It's a new favorite thing. Oh, Charli girl. Thank you guys for watching. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hope everybody's well. Bye for now.